It's almost spring, and that means it's time for cherry blossoms and our next Money Mastermind series. This is Steve Stearns, certified financial planner and owner of Able Financial, and I'm excited for our next Money Mastermind update of 2023. So one of the things we pride ourselves on at Able Financial is getting in the weeds and helping clients with everything we can, and sometimes that extends beyond purely financial topics. Over the past several years, there's been a spike in scammers trying to take advantage of everyone, whether you're young or elderly, tech savvy or not. Today, I want to help educate you about email spoofing and phishing schemes so you can protect yourself. Today, we're discussing how to spot an email scam. But first, we're going to dive right in with a quick 2023 market update. Then we'll dive into a real-life case study of an email phishing scheme that I received myself. As we discussed in our review meetings, major asset classes ended 2022 down in almost every category except for commodities and private assets. In fact, 2022 ended up being the rare year where both bonds and stocks were negative. Bonds had their worst year in history, but the rapid rise in interest rates is setting the stage for strong growth out of bonds for the next several years once the Fed stops hiking rates. In 2023, markets are starting the year in positive territory. In fact, the worst performers from 2022 have started off the strongest in 2023. For example, technology had a very difficult year, starting up now over 12% in just the first couple months of the year. Look at natural gas, which skyrocketed last year, is now down almost 33%. However, markets are already starting to show signs of slowing down. And just this past week, we've seen some economic data which is making investors worry that the Fed will continue to raise rates for longer and to reach higher levels. I personally expect us to retest the market bottom that we had back in October 2022, especially with the Fed continuing to raise the rates in its battle against inflation. And we also face a political battle this summer over the debt ceiling. We remain well diversified and prepared to weather the storm for our clients, but now let's talk about spoofing and phishing. What is spoofing and phishing? Let's start with spoofing. Spoofing is often the first step in an email scam. A scammer will send you an email with a fake sender address. This is to make you think the email is coming from a trusted source or a reputable company, including their branding and their logos. The end goal is to earn your trust so that you click on a link or an attachment in the email. So then the scammer can either obtain password credentials to a secure site or your social security number. They also might try to install malicious software on your computer or have you call a fake call center and allow a hacker to then access your computer. Other kinds of spoofing include text messages, caller ID spoofing, website spoofing, and more. But here's an example of an email spoofing scheme. So let's just say you're close friends with Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon. So you get an email from Jeff. It'll say his name in the who it's from section of the email. The title is "You're So Hired." And then it's a typical email. Just want to let you know I found your LinkedIn profile, blah, 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 blah. Sounds legitimate. The first step to identify a spoofing scheme is just to see if it's actually from Jeff Bezos. It would probably say Jeff at Amazon.com. But if you hover over this section or double click, you'll actually see where the email is from. And you'll see in this case, it's something, a Gmail account that makes no sense. Let's go on to phishing. After receiving a spoofed email pretending to be a trusted source, such as a friend, a colleague, or a trusted business, what is phishing? So once you trust the source of the email, or it could be a text message or a phone call, the goal of the hacker is to have you provide them secure credentials private information, or have you download malicious software. This is the phishing scheme. So the end goal is to earn your trust so that you click on a link or an attachment in the email so that the scammer can then obtain password credentials to a secure site, install malicious software on your computer, or have you call a fake call center and allow a hacker to access your computer. So how might they do this? Well, first they might say they've noticed some suspicious activity or a login attempt. They haven't. They might claim that there's a problem with your account or your payment information. There isn't a problem. They might say you need to confirm some personal or financial information. You don't. They might include an invoice you don't recognize, causing alarm. It's fake. They might want you to click on a link to make a payment, but the link has malware or malicious software. They might say you're eligible to register for a government refund. Who doesn't like free money? Well, it's a scam. Or they might offer a coupon for free stuff. It's just not real. So what's an example of a phishing email, and then maybe a real life example and what to look for? So as you can see, this phishing email uses Netflix's real logo. This was a real scam that went out several years ago. The goal here was to build trust by using the real Netflix logo while attempting to have you click the Update Account Now link and then take the unsuspecting victim into typing in your login details and credit card information into a fake site, which is then stolen. So next, let's take a look at a real scheme that appeared in my inbox last week and take you through how to identify if it's fake and what to do if you believe it's legitimate. Here's a real life phishing email that I received just a couple days ago. So I'm going to take you through step by step how I try to identify what might be a spoofed email and what to look out for in case it could be a phishing email. So first of all, we take a look at the area of the email where it says who it's from, who the email is to, and the subject line. So when I look at the sender, I see Terrier Knights at terrierknights@gmail.com. First of all, I ask myself, do I know Terrier? And I don't. So I'm immediately suspicious. Usually I'll delete the email just because of that. But in a spoofed email, this might say it's from someone you know or a business you trust. So the next step is to identify what the underlying email address is. So let's just say this said it's from Emily Stern, my wife. But then when I look under the hood and I look at who the email's from, it's terrierknights@gmail.com, I instantly know that it's spoofing my wife or whoever you think it may be. Then I look at who is it to. And in this case, it came into my inbox, but it was to dearcustomer@geeksquad.com. So I know there is somehow imitating the from and to lines. Finally, the subject, your invoice for the proofreading services we provided is attached. Well, I never requested proofreading services. Immediately I'm suspicious and I'll most likely delete the email. But good phishing schemes make it sound realistic. So the next step is to look in the body of the email. So this email says it's from the Geek Squad. All right, Geek Squad I know is a reputable service through Best Buy. That also makes me wonder why this didn't come from a Geek Squad email address or a Best Buy email address. Next, I look for grammatical errors. So, dear customer of Geek Squad, I immediately notice 2 commas here. When it's coming from a legitimate professional business, they're going to have technology, they're going to have people, they're going to proofread the emails, and you're not going to see a lot of grammatical errors. So, dear customer of Geek Squad, 2 commas, Again, I'm suspicious. Your order's been placed successfully. This is an invoice notification for your purchase worth $299 US. Okay, well, if it's actually $299 US, it would have a dollar sign. We would see a comma, not a period. Immediately, this makes me think it came from a Nigerian prince or someone from overseas. For your yearly antivirus subscription as your device from Geek Squad. So you kind of continue to look through. Then I immediately noticed that they have this customer service number. The formatting of the number is wrong. There's extra spacing in here, no space between the hyphen here. It just, again, not grammatically correct for how we type phone numbers here in the United States. Let's see what else could be incorrect. We go down here, Geek Squad Security, renewed successfully. Here we have the dollar sign where we didn't before. And then now in this case, the phone number to the help desk is the same number, but here they're using commas and no hyphens. This is very clearly a phishing scheme, very poorly done. But let's say I actually believe this. What many people would do is say, I think this is a scam. I'm going to call the phone number just in case. Never call the phone number directly in the email. This is the next level with how a scammer can get access to your credentials or your private information. If you call this number, it's not going to lead to a real Geek Squad. It's going to lead to potentially a hacker who will convince you to let them log onto your computer to view something private and get access to whether it be bank account information or passwords that you don't want to give out. So what did we learn about how to evaluate an email and determine if it could be a scam? Well, education is the best protection. So that was my goal today, is just to try to educate you and show you a real life example. First of all, you want to look out for a spoofed email. Inspect the email header to not only read the name the email is coming from, but then to double click or hover over your mouse over the name to see the actual email address or domain. This was the example we gave with Terrier Night. But don't just go off of the name. Look at the actual email address of who it's from. Inspect the to line and the subject line. Next, never click an attachment or a link unless you're expecting a document from someone you know. When in doubt, reach out to the person to confirm. It can be very tempting. Humans are curious, but it isn't worth it. I've been tempted many times. Just reach out to the person to ask if they sent you something. They'll be grateful because then you've identified that someone is sending fake emails from that person. And finally, be suspicious of invoices or fake bills. Never use a phone number embedded in an email. If you think it might be legitimate, look up the phone number on a search engine such as Google. That way, when you're looking it up, you know you have the real number and it's not going to be a scam. If it's that important, whoever you speak to on the other line will know that they sent an email and that something is needed. If not, delete it. If you think you clicked on a malicious link, you can always take your computer to a local repair shop. In the end, I hope this helps. And as always, if you need anything at all, you can call or email me anytime. Spring's almost here. We'll see you soon. Bye.